Welcome back. You're watching Good Morning Sri Lanka's premier sports website, and we're talking with their team. Going back to Mr. Asad De Silva as the managing director, let's talk about the administrative structure of your organization. You start off as a website trying to bring the community together in a very special traditional event, but then you turn out to become a pretty large functioning organization. How do you all work? What's the whole fray? And also, what are the different departments you guys have?
Yes, Roshan, now it's like this. I must mention one thing, that is, like, all of us are doing this as a part-time project, and it's sheer passion that drives the entire project of the papare.com. So how we function is basically we cover about 12 sports at the moment, and we have journalists heading one sport. So they'll be in charge, like, say, for example, Sankar as a CEO and as a journalist, he is involved in rugby and he takes care of the rugby events. So what happens is, on a weekly basis, we make a plan. Okay, these are the events that we're going to cover, and we stick to that, and we do our coverage based on that plan. And we have about 40 to 50 journalists writing in on a weekly basis, and we have about 20 photographers covering each event that takes place on a weekly basis. So that's how we go about our functioning of the site. And we also have a separate technical team which looks into the live streaming, as from time to time the changes that we. So it's a huge process that goes behind, actually.
And like you said, it has to be run by sheer passion, otherwise you cannot make it
Definitely.
happen. But how do people get in touch with you guys? Like, if they have a certain sport that they want to have covered, if they want to even send their own written articles about their sport events, how do they get in touch? And also, if somebody's interested in working with you guys, there's quite a bit of sport
where they can write their own article, send it to us so that we can publish, because there are some. So the simplest thing that they can do is they can send it on the editor at the papare.com, or they can email it to info@thepapare.com. So if they do that, then we can get in touch with them and cover their events, or the other option is for them to log into our site at the www.thepapare.com, and there's an area for them to submit their articles. They can just go online and do that, so that we can publish it without any problem.
So once again, it's info@thepapare.com or editor@thepapare.com.
That's right.
In addition to that, I also see that you guys have a pretty active Facebook site and all that, and you want to give that information, and also Twitter.
Yes, our Facebook page is facebook.com/thepapare, and the Twitter is also the same. It's the twitter.com /thepapare. So you can get into our Twitter page or the Facebook page.
So you can follow them at the Papare on Twitter and also on Facebook. Coming back to Sankar, we're talking about, once again, the rugby season and all that. You mentioned something earlier about Sri Lanka having, compared to most of the Asian countries, one of the best schools program. Now, how do you see a future here? Where are areas, as a person who's been looking very intently at the sport, how can we improve? What are areas of concern, and what are areas that gives you hope, saying that we can become much better?
Why I said it was one of the most competitive tournaments is that all teams, not even only in the A division or even B division, C division, they have a lot of passion playing the sport, and in order to take it to the next level, they need to think of development squads, where the under 19 players, the under 21 players go from, and they need to have a system which feeds in players to the Sri Lankan team, and we need to get foreign support as well, since now the money is coming into to rugby, and now it's being a bit more professional. People are getting contracted, and there is a lot of players who want to do it as a profession, but the only thing that's holding them back is the lack of funds. So I think if they are willing to make it professional, and it's up to the union, to the SLRFU, to come up with the funds, and if they're willing to make it a professional sport, like cricket, I think we can go a long way with the talent and with the skills and everything we have in Sri Lanka.
Well said. Before we were talking about one of the causes you're taking on is anti-doping and creating awareness about this issue. But at the same time, I think one of the areas that Sri Lanka sports suffers is we're still concentrated in urban areas where there is a more affluent community, most of our sports. Now, one of the things that cricket started improving was because it went out of Colombo and started looking for it. How is rugby doing that, and what's the Papara doing to start creating more awareness and exposure for sportsmen outside the city capital?
Yeah, in terms of rugby, actually we don't, except for Kandy and Colombo, we don't find many other schools coming in and performing so well. One of the key reasons for that is actually rugby is in a way an expensive sport. You need a lot of finances going into it for training, for gym purposes and all that. So in terms of rugby, we've not been able to do that. But then again, the Papara is looking forward to spreading awareness and trying to give potential players a chance and exposure to come into the main line of rugby. But if you look at cricket, we saw last year that St. Thomas's College played St. John's after a lapse of around 15 years, and the Papara.com is hoping to cover the Battle of the North in the future years as well. So in terms of cricket, we've actually gone to the north, and there's actually a lot of interaction, and in the other sports as well, especially soccer, because that's a very widespread sport, especially in the rural areas. So we are hoping to give them some coverage and maybe come up with a plan where people in Colombo, people in the urban areas can actually spot out the talent that's not been seen too much, and give them also another chance.
I think that's a key word for people in Colombo, to see the talent out there and to celebrate the talent as our own talent. And also the whole concept of in a post-war era for reconciliation, sports has always played a role, but it shows signs of playing a stronger role. How do you guys see, as the Papara, as one of the mechanisms for informing about sports in Sri Lanka, how can you be part of that process for reconciliation and sports integration?
Yeah, actually, if you look at sports, it's pretty much like acting out a drama. You need an audience. You need something to motivate you to play. And what we've done is we've provided that audience. We've provided a platform in which they can perform. Because if you look at it, every single rugby match is covered up on Facebook, and there are so many pictures. And who knows, young kids might even be motivated to play rugby simply because they get that kind of exposure. But whatever the reason for them to start, that's not what's relevant. What's relevant is whether we develop that and whether we harness that talent into national players. So what we are hoping to do is promote that kind of exposure and give other players from various different regions also a chance to come to the limelight, so that people might see their talent. And also in terms of investment, companies and all sorts are increasingly interested in sponsoring school teams, interested in sponsoring club teams, because while we are giving publicity to the players, we are in turn giving publicity to the companies that are sponsoring them. So this is where we have come in, and we played a major role. And actually we are very proud to have won the Swabhimani Award for Youth Encouragement last year, and we are just hoping to go on that line.
Yeah, so congratulations on that. That's an amazing achievement for something that's driven out of passion and an excitement and a part-time job for most of you. What's in store for the future? Where does the Papara head from here? You have a base, you have a foundation. What are certain things? I'll let all of you add one thing exciting that's coming up. We'll start from the managing director.
Yeah, actually one of the first things, main priorities rather, would be to make the site trilingual, so that we can get the message across to a bit wider audience. So that is in the pipeline. And then we have started a new concept called the podipapare.com. Actually the idea is to give exposure to the schoolboys, schoolgirls at a very young level, so that like what Mevan said, to motivate them from a very young age to perform and to do what they are doing to a better capability, so that they will reach better goals. And also we have our own project which is called the Rugby All-Stars event, where we help the SLRFU to pick the best 15 for the Junior Asiad. So last 2 years we had it. This year also we are planning to have it. It's basically the best players from Colombo and best players from Kandy put together. They will be having a match, and from that it will be a selection match. So from there onwards we are planning to take the site to the next level, maybe in time to come, to have a separate production so that the sportsmen and women, they get better exposure. So that's the main idea and the plan for the near future that we have on the papare.com. That's okay.
Any things you guys want to add to that as we're closing?
And we are also trying to come up with, last year we launched the Papare magazine for the people who, the old-fashioned people who actually want something tangible with them. And it was a pilot run last year. And this year also we are, maybe in about a few months it might be out, the Papare magazine. And also what we want to do is we want to make this a full-time thing. We want to get people full-time, we want to get journalists full-time, people who market the site, and we want to make it a full-time operation. That's also in the time to come soon.
All right, so we want to wish you guys all the very best. Amazing work. Thank you for enriching Sri Lankan sports. You guys are doing a service, and I hope that it will continue to grow from strength to strength. So thank you very much to Mr. Sankar, Asid, and Mevan. All the very best. You're watching Good Morning Sri Lanka. We'll be right back, but thank you, gentlemen, for contributing to this show.
Thank you very much for giving the opportunity.
We'll be right back.